This is a review for next week. So we have 14 till 18. It's going to be a short week because we are having Easter. So Friday will not be a trading day. We have some interesting news on Wednesday, 8:30 and 1:30 p.m. we have Powell's picks. So here I expect to be quite a lot of consolidation, seek and destroy, so difficult trading conditions. And then Thursday we have the unemployment claims at 8:30. So there could be some nice setup in the morning session, also around 10 a.m. But yeah, quite of a short week. So if we look at the dollar index, usually dollar index is inversely correlated to index futures. So if the market is symmetrical, if the dollar index goes down, we expect the Nasdaq ES to go up. So if we analyze what's been happening into the dollar index, we see how we had this CB from 7 November 2022. And notice how price went above it, respected the upper quadrant with the bodies, perfectly bodies respecting, we go above it. But notice how there is a portion open. And when this portion open and then we have the shifted market structure on lower time frame, then it means that it's bearish. And then we made the high here in January, swing high. Then we went lower and we went into this weekly fair value gap volume imbalance. And here we have another volume imbalance from 2020. And then price came into this order block with the weak CA, consequent encroachment. See how price is respecting that, just a little bit of a wick below it. This is somewhere between the 25% and 50% of the weak quadrants. We look at the dollar index on the daily chart, we get a bit more information. So notice this was the daily fair value gap, which became an inversion fair value gap. So here, from 11/11/2022, so become a bearish inversion fair value gap. Notice the respect of the upper quadrant, and then how it breaks lower. So this is happening in March. And then it's been like a straight move down. Here we gap lower. Notice here, it comes a bit up, respects the consequent encroachment. We have a bearish breaker, and then price moves lower. It makes this daily busy, and then we have this daily volume imbalance. So price is really in a hurry to go down. And if we look to the right, to the left, as we saw, we had the weekly fair value gap over here. And then we have some nested daily fair value gaps here from 5th of April 2022, 4th of April, 1st of April. And notice this bullish breaker. So here we have the bullish breaker in this dotted lines, and this is the mean threshold of that. And we see how price respects that over here, and then it goes higher. So I expect to see a retracement back up here into this gap, and I'm curious how this daily basis are going to act. If they support price to go higher, then I expect it to come all of the way here, and then we're watching this daily tail CA. However, this is in itself a bearish breaker. So if we take the last candle here, we have to see how this is going to act. So from 27/9/2024. And if it respects the mean threshold, it might go lower and attack this sell side liquidity over here and tap into these fair value gaps. But I would like to see how we open and then also what's happening inside this tail. So if it can't reach here, then I expect to go lower. If it managed to go above it, and then we see how it reacts to this daily volume imbalance, and then see how if it can go. So if it shows some respect here, I expect it to go higher here, and then see if it goes above the upper part of the fair value gap. Then see how it goes here. So if it shows some move higher, then I expect to see prices going opposite, so down into the Nasdaq. And this ties to the seasonal tendency. So this is not like 100%, but it does show us some pretty good statistical probability of how price is going to act every week. And especially if we can see some confluence with what is happening in the dollar index and what the technicals are showing, how the PD arrays on higher time frame are working, then we have higher probability of seeing our setup span out in our preferred times of trading, so in the macros, for example. So here we see that if we look on this is like the third week of April 2025. So we see that we expect some short, sharp retracement down, and then maybe a move higher the second part of the week or into the next week. So we see that over here, and both the red line and the blue line are both confirming that. So the 50-year and the 30-year trends are confirming that. So if we look further on Nasdaq, because we remember last week, we saw that price was coming into this fair value gap. Yeah, I remove it from now. I clean up the charts because we're already higher. And then we have this weekly tail CA, the quadrants over here. And then we had this short volume imbalance. And I've added the quadrants on the previous week. So this is like the trinity on the weekly. Every week we take the quadrants. And then we also look for the previous month. And we transpose that. These are good to transpose on the 4-hour. And the weekly is good to transpose on the 1-hour. So here on the 4-hour chart, we see how price has found some support on Tuesday at 10 p.m. on this tail CA from Sunday 6 p.m., which made the low of the week. And then price, we had this busy going higher. And then it went up to the 25% of this tail, somewhere in between the 25% and the 50%. And then price came lower. And this was like, as we see, the low of previous month. So notice how at the low of the previous month, price was bearish. So this was like an important level to pay attention, and see how when we have that to the chart, it's a bit easier to see. And it guides us about the next move. And then we came lower. We found some support into the daily consequent encroachment. It was this one over here of the week, CA. And then we make the swing low here, and then we went higher. And we closed on the 25% of the daily CB. So I will go to the daily time frame now and show my bias for the week. So the levels so here is like the start of the next week. And then, as I mentioned, the daily week CA, and here we have the tail. So I'm taking the consequent encroachment, and then the Friday tail consequent encroachment. And I'm taking these levels up as well, the daily order block where we found the high of the week. And then we have this fair value gap, and this encompasses the volume imbalance, and I made that in a bit of a darker shade. And notice the perfection here, the 25% retracement level, how it's respected over here when we combine these two. And then price is likely to go lower. So according to the dollar seasonal, the dollar technicals that are, I would like to see a move higher because we've been going so much down. So I would like to see a move higher, at least into this, or even higher if it shows respect here. So because of that, if we start seeing this in the dollar, then I would like to see a move lower into the Nasdaq. And if this stays in place like this, then we're likely to go lower. And then I want to see this daily CB and this daily LCL. So I wrote here, it should stay below the 18,935. So this will be this consequent encroachment. So it should be around this level should kind of reject price to go lower. And then the targets down will be like this fair value gap. And then we see if this will act as an inversion level. So it will be as resistance to take us lower into these tails. And usually a tails price can bounce up and it can become a little bit of a consolidation environment. And we see I have quite some wicks here. So wicks means tails. So the wicks are the one upper and these are the tails. So these lines. So here it could be a bit more difficult to trade, and it could come here around Powell, for example, because Powell tends to create that kind of environment, or lower in the week before the holidays. It can get a bit muddy. There is also an invalidation. So we have a preferred direction for the week, but we have to be flexible. If the PDRAs are not showing respect of that, then it can go into the other direction. So our invalidation is around this level as well. So the daily CBCA. We'll observe how it acts if it goes higher to the daily volume imbalance. And if it shows some support here, then I'm watching back for this daily order block from 1st of April. And the daily order block mean threshold, so the midpoint of that. That's this level, 19,453, round figure. So this level over here, and then if it starts going above that, then it means we are a bit bullish and it can start going into this CB. And I'm watching these levels, how price reacts at 25%, 50%, and see if it respects that or if it wants to go higher. So these are my validation level, but the move I prefer is the down move. So these are the level I'm watching on the daily. And if I go to 1 hour, I would add more lipstick to the chart. So here we see again the quadrants of the previous week. So this would be the high. And as you remember, it was this bearish breaker that made the high of the week. So we're still below the mean threshold. And this is the daily CB. Put the daily chart here so it's easier. This is the daily CB. I'm not showing the fair value gap just to make it easier to read. But this is the area that I'm watching to show some resistance. It can, as you see here, we have like this 1 hour CB from 3 a.m. on 10th of April. And this has prices below the consequent encroachment. So I do allow for price to come back here. I would not like to see it fully close, but the wicks can come here above it. And if the wicks come above it, this is allowed, and it would actually show like a second stage distribution model, which could make price to go down more. So I'm allowing for that. But if it starts showing, if it starts consolidating here, if it starts spending time into the upper half and then going above it, coming down, showing support, then my bullish stance is negated. That's why I added this X sign. Now we see how we are at the daily fair value gap, 25%. So we see over here. price respecting that. And here we have the fair value gap on the 1 hour chart. So there is quite some back and forth price action, which might make it a bit hard to break. But the levels I would be interested in here would be sort of this relative equal lows. And then see how it acts inside this bullish breaker. If price can come down from here. Otherwise, if we start showing support over here, then I'm looking for price to go above the swing high. So go to the upper half of the CB and then see how it reacts. Here we also have a small bearish breaker, so high, low, higher, high, and then see how it reacts over here and if it wants to go into this 1 hour wick quadrant. 15 minutes time frame. Here we have even more lipstick. So we have, if price goes down, we have this 15 minutes. And then we have this lower part. And here I'm watching these two CBs from 3:15 and 3:30 from 10 of April and see how price acts there. If it finds some support and it can go higher, if it shows resistance to this level, only if the wicks are coming here and then price is rejecting, then I'm looking for this swing low, this 15-minute BC, and this liquidity over here with this fair value gap. So yeah, so this is my my review. These are the levels I'm looking for next week. So we'll hear back again tomorrow, inshallah. Have a good evening, and I wish you a good trading week.